Students, now we come to the bread formula construction. This is very important, that when you have to, you are working in a bread making food factory, you are getting orders to make 1000 bread loaves, 2000 bread loaves of 500 gram each. Then you have to calculate the various ingredients in the bread formula, how much flour you will be using, how much sugar you will be using, how much salt is required for making the dough. That is called as formula construction. There are many different formulae for bread making. Some of these formulae, they contain little enriching agents, for example eggs, fat, sugar, and these formula are known as lean formula, but there are others which are called rich formula, which contain eggs, which contain milk powder, fat, sugar, etc. And there are many formulas between these two extremes also, lean and rich bread formula. If the baker is to produce a certain amount of bread or sweet dough, he will have to know the desired weights of the each ingredients to produce the desired amount of the finished product. For example, in the practical classes, you take 500, you calculate amount of various ingredients on the basis of 500 grams. I give you a recipe for 100 parts flour basis, and you multiply it by 5 for calculating on 500 gram flour basis. But this is on a very small scale, on the lab scale. But in the commercial scale, this is not the case. As I've said, that if you have got an order for about 2000 breads and each bread loaf should be of 500 gram, then how you will calculate? First of all, you should know the recipe of the bread formula. Generally, we calculate the recipe on the basis of 100% flour or 100 part bread flour, and then the percentages of other ingredients are accordingly used. For example, I give you that flour percent is 100%. Then ingredients, all other ingredients, for example, they constitute 60%. Total percent of the formula would be 100 plus 60, 160% of the total yeast, or you will say 160% of the weight of the flour. You can increase the dough formula or you can decrease the dough formula, and accordingly you have to calculate the amount of the desired ingredients. There are 4 factors which have to be kept in mind for constructing the formula. First is weight of the dough. If you are making breads, buns, any recipe, yeast raised recipe, you have to know the weight of the dough. Total percent formula to be used. Amount of losses during fermentation. Normally 2% losses occur during the fermentation. Then some losses occur during the baking also. Then 4th will be scaling weight of the dough pieces. You have to make bread of 450 gram or 500 gram or 750 gram. These 4 things have to be taken into consideration. Now I give you example of constructing the bread formula. This has been given in your manual also, but it will help you when I tell you in an easy way. In this, they have given the example that you have to construct a loaf. You have to prepare 261 bread loaves. Each bread loaf should weigh 450 gram dough, and ultimately after fermentation, the weight of the bread loaf will come to about 400 gram after the fermentation losses and the baking losses. That means the finished loaf should be of 400 gram, and you have to take 450 gram dough for each bread loaf, and such 261 loaves you have to prepare. Then how you will calculate the formula ingredients, their amounts? You know the various ingredients. Your bread formula, generally it is flour 100 parts, or you can say 100% also. Water, we normally take 60 parts or 60%. Salt 2 parts or 2%. Yeast 1 part. Sugar 2 parts. Fat 1.5 parts or percent. Non-fat dry milk powder 0.5. 100 parts is your flour, and rest of the ingredients, they are 67 parts. If you add up all these ingredients, they come to 67% or 67 parts. Now 100 plus 67, it is 167% or 167 parts. This is your bread formula. Now 4 steps which you have to follow to complete the increasing or decreasing of the formulas. Number 1, you have to decide the amount needed to produce the desired amount of loaves or amount of product. For example, there is one formula given in the book, that is number of units multiplied by scaling weight. The product of this multiplication is to be multiplied by 1.02 fermentation loss. This will give you dough weight. For example, number of units, how many? 261 loaves. Scaling weight is your 450 grams. If you have to convert it into kgs, it will come to 0.450, and multiplied by 1.02 fermentation losses. 261 into 0.450 into 1.02, this will give you around 120 kg. That means this much dough is to be prepared. You will have to prepare 120 kg dough to get 261 loaves having 400 gram each loaf weight. Now second step, how much flour is required for 120 kg dough? You have to again take the help of the formula, total dough weight divided by total formula percent into 100 kg of the flour. In this case, you have to prepare total dough weight is your 120 kg. You have calculated in this step 1. And what is the total formula percent which you had calculated when you were calculating the amount of various ingredients? It had come to 167% or parts. Therefore, it is 120 divided by 167 into 100 kg of flour. It will come to about 72 kg of the flours. That means to prepare 120 kg flour, you will have to take 72 kg of the flour. Now on the basis of this much amount of flour, you can calculate the various ingredients as you are calculating in the class. Now next step would be, you will have to calculate the amount of each ingredient according to the bread formula you are using by multiplying the percent of each ingredient times the weight of the formula. For example, flour, you have to take 100% or parts. In this case, it is 72 kg. flour you have calculated, water you have to take 60% of the flour, therefore 60% of 72 would come about to 43.2 kg. Salt you are taking 2% in the formula, 2% of 72, it will come to about 1.44 kg. Yeast you are using 1% in the formula, 1% of 72 kg of flour, it will come to about 0.72 kg. Sugar you are using 2% of 72, it will come to around 1.44 kg. Fat you are using 1.5%, 1.5% of 72 kg, it will come to about 1.08 kg. And milk powder you are using 0.5% or 0.5 parts of 72 parts, it will come to about 0.36 kgs. Therefore, now you have calculated the amount of all the ingredients to be used in the bread loaf according to the bread formula you are using or the bread recipe you are using. Weigh all these ingredients and make the dough. Total formula of the original recipe was 167 kg or 167% or 167 parts, whereas total weight of the new formula according to the order given in the bakery, it comes to about 120.24 kgs. You will weigh the ingredients and you will start preparing the bread. Now we are using the straight dough method for making bread in the class. There are two methods of bread making. This is the new chapter, bread making methods. And many times this comes in as a lengthy question in the paper. This is very important. There are two methods of bread making. One is your straight dough process, another is your sponge and dough process. You have been given the flow diagrams in the manual in this chapter, and you have to follow this flow diagrams. You know that in the straight dough method, this you are doing in the class every day in the practical classes. First of all, you were preparing the ingredients, you were weighing the ingredients, you were sifting the flour, you were blending the flour with milk powder and salt, you were doing tempering of the water, at what temperature of water you have to do the mixing. It has to be lukewarm or cold water according to the season, that is known as tempering of water. Then you are mixing yeast plus small amount of lukewarm water plus sugar. Then you were starting the mixing, you were starting the dough making, and after 1 to 2 minutes of mixing the dry ingredients, you were adding the yeast solution you had prepared. Then after 5 to 6 minutes of the mixing, you were adding fat at the end. And the dough, you know the consistency of the dough, what kind of dough has to be made, and it is to be then taken out of the mixer, and then you make the ball of the dough, then you keep it in the bowl or in the tray, keep it covered with the plastic sheet or with the wet muslin cloth, and you keep it in the proofing cabinet at 27 degrees centigrade for first proofing or intermediate proofing. And then you are taking out the dough after proofing time given in the recipe, and then you are dividing the dough if you are making bread, you have to take 450 grams, you will be doing scaling at 450 grams. Then you will be doing the rounding of the scaled pieces, and you will keep it again in the proofing cabinet for intermediate proofing. After intermediate proofing, you will do the knockback punching. Again, you will be doing molding. If you have to do the molding, you have to take the tin of the required size, and you will have to do the molding of 450 gram of dough into that. For that, you will have to, of course, prepare the dough tin, greasing and dusting with flour. After molding, you will do the panning. Panning means putting in the pan of the bread, and then you will again keep it in the proofing cabinet for pan proofing, for it is generally about 30 to 40 minutes till the proofing is done up to 3/4 of the bread pan. When the proofing is complete, then you do the baking in the oven, and then after baking you take out the bread from the pans, you do the cooling on the racks, and then after sufficient cooling, then you do the slicing. This is straight dough method which we generally follow in the class. But there is another method that is known as sponge dough process. Sponge dough process, few steps are the same which we follow in the straight dough method. One or two steps they are different. You have to prepare the ingredients first in this process also. According to the bread formula, you have to take the various ingredients, weigh them, sieving and sifting of the flour, blending of the flour with the various dry ingredients. Then you have to do tempering of the water. Then you have to do mixing of yeast, sugar and water, and you have to mix it with the dry ingredients. This yeast solution has to be added in the dry ingredients. Just lightly with hand, you have to put the all amount of water given. Then you have to add flour, salt, yeast, sugar, milk powder, everything but you have to take. But flour you don't have to take in one go. You have to take some amount of the flour in this case. You will get a better kind of you will get a dough which is of about semi-liquid consistency, and then you have to, this is having a sponge-like texture. This sponge dough you have to keep in the bowl. You will allow it to mature maybe for about 8 to 9 hours, and then you will keep this sponge in the mixer. You will break down the sponge and you will mix it with the rest of the dough ingredients, that is mainly your flour. That means the ferment has to be prepared and the ferment has to be mixed with the flour, and then it has to be placed in the mixing bowl or in the tray. You will get again a dough which you have prepared in the straight dough method, and similar kind of dough you will be getting, and then the rest of the steps are the same. Only thing is कि आपको पहले स्पॉन्ज बनाना है. स्पॉन्ज के लिए आप वेड अमाउंट ऑफ फ्लावर में से कुछ आधा मैदा ले लेंगे, उसमें यीस्ट सॉल्यूशन डाल देंगे, पानी डाल देंगे, जितना आपको दिया हुआ है उसको करने के बाद आपने उसको फर्मेंट करने के लिए प्रूफिंग कैबिनेट में रख देना है 8 से 10 घंटे के लिए, और उससे यीस्ट या ओवरनाइट भी रख सकते हैं। उससे यीस्ट उस फ्लावर को फर्मेंट कर देगी। अगले दिन वो जो आपके पास एक लूज स्पॉन्जी लाइक डो मिला है उसको आप मिक्सर में डालेंगे, और जो आपके पास बचा हुआ मैदा और ड्राई इंग्रेडिएंट्स है वो आप डाल देंगे, और आपका डो स्ट्रेट डो मेथड जैसा बन जाएगा। आपको मिक्सिंग करनी है वही 5-6 मिनट के लिए टू गेट डो ऑफ द रिक्वायर्ड टेक्सचर और ऑफ द रिक्वायर्ड कंसिस्टेंसी। आपने उस डो को फिर वही जैसे हम प्रूफिंग रखते हैं, इंटरमीडिएट प्रूफिंग रखते हैं, फिर हम उसकी स्लाइसिंग करते हैं, फिर स्केलिंग करते हैं, फिर हम उसकी स्केलिंग करने के बाद राउंड अप करते हैं, फिर हम उसकी पैनिंग कर और मोल्डिंग करते हैं। मोल्डिंग करेंगे पैन में, पैनिंग करेंगे, फिर हम उसको पैन प्रूफ करेंगे 3/4 तक, फिर हम बेकिंग करेंगे, फिर हम कूलिंग करेंगे, फिर हम स्लाइसिंग करेंगे ब्रेड की। तो शुरू का 1-2 स्टेप डिफरेंट है, बाकी स्टेप स्पॉन्ज डो प्रोसेस में सारे सेम हैं, स्ट्रेट डो मेथड जैसे। तो these are the 2 methods. You should follow the flow diagrams for this and you will again understand better. If you don't understand, when we will do the practical, I will give you the demo how to prepare the sponge first. And these are the 2 methods, and you know, then in bread making there are various operations which we follow. What are the basic bread operations for preparing the bread? The bread, you know, it is a foamed structure and 4 raw ingredients, essential ingredients, which is flour, water, salt, yeast, they are to be used. And first step in bread making operation is doing the weighing of the ingredients according to your bread formula. Second is sieving. आपके पास मैदा है, आप उसको पहले सीव करते हैं ताकि उसमें एरेशन हो जाए, टू एरेट द फ्लावर। दूसरा काम हमारा इसलिए हम सीविंग करते हैं कि उसमें कोई कोर्स पार्टिकल्स हैं, कंटेमिनेट्स हैं, इम्प्योरिटीज़ हैं, वो निकल जाएं। और तीसरा हमारा फंक्शन सीविंग का ये हो जाता है कि वो होमोजीनस हो जाए, यूनिफॉर्म हो जाए। तो therefore we do the sieving first. Weighing of the ingredients, you have done for various ingredients, how much flour is to be used, how much yeast is to be used, salt, sugar, skim milk powder, water, everything you have done. You have done tempering of the water also, whether you have to use cold water or lukewarm water, whatsoever is the temperature of the water required, you have done that to prepare the dough at about 27 degrees centigrade. आपने yeast solution आपको बनाना है। yeast you have to disperse in small amount of lukewarm water. You have to put sugar, you can add additives like oxidants, yeast foods, etc. And you have to keep it for some time so that yeast becomes active, it starts multiplying. और how you will find this, उसके ऊपर bubbles आ जाएंगे, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड गैस की yeast सॉल्यूशन में पॉपअप हो जाएगी yeast। तो उसके बाद आप मिक्सिंग करते हो मिक्सर में। मिक्सर भी 2 तरह के होते हैं, एंड मिक्सिंग इज़ ए वेरी वेरी इम्पॉर्टेंट स्टेप इन ब्रेड मेकिंग। और मिक्सर की हेल्प से आप जल्दी मिक्सिंग कर लेते हो, अच्छी मिक्सिंग कर लेते हो। मैनुअल डो मेकिंग करोगे तो इट रिक्वायर्स सम टाइम, 10 to 15 मिनट्स एटलीस्ट, और आपको स्ट्रॉन्ग नीडिंग करनी पड़ती है। और आपको पता ही है कि मिक्सिंग में आप कैसे कैसे क्या क्या इंग्रेडिएंट्स कैसे कैसे डालते हो। अल्टीमेटली आफ्टर द मिक्सिंग टाइम इज़ ओवर, यू गेट द डो, ग्लूटेन इज़ डेवलप्ड इन दैट डो। यदि इसमें ग्लूटेन कम था तो आप इन इंग्रेडिएंट्स के साथ साथ 2% ग्लूटेन भी डाल सकते हो अपने डो में। मोस्टली हमारे जो मिक्सर्स हैं दे आर मैकेनिकल मिक्सर्स वी यूज़ इन द लैब, एंड दे मेक the dough, very good dough we get out of it. It is extensible, stretchability, आप डो की स्ट्रेचेबिलिटी से जज कर लेते हो, एक्सटेंसिबिलिटी, इलास्टिसिटी से जज कर लेते हो कि डो ऑफ प्रॉपर डो बन गया है या नहीं बन गया है। जब मिक्सर से बाहर आप डो को निकालते हो तो इसका टेम्परेचर शुड बी बिटवीन 25-26 अप टू 27 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड, क्योंकि इसी टेम्परेचर पे ईस्ट अच्छी ग्रो करेगी डो में। तो डो का टेम्परेचर बहुत कम और बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए। तो आपने जब मिक्सिंग की थी तो आपने देखा था कि इसमें भी मिक्सिंग में आपने 6 स्टेजेस देखी होंगी। सबसे पहले पिकअप स्टेज, जिसमें कि वेरियस इंग्रेडिएंट्स को मिक्सर ने पिकअप किया। क्लीन अप स्टेज, जब इंग्रेडिएंट्स प्रॉपरली मिल जाते हैं तो आपका मिक्सर अपने आप क्लीन होना शुरू हो जाता है। डेवलपमेंट स्टेज, जिस स्टेज पे ग्लूटेन अच्छे से डेवलप हो जाता है। फाइनल स्टेज आ जाती है डो की, और आप उसके बियॉन्ड मिक्सिंग करेंगे तो लेट डाउन स्टेज आ जाएगी। आपका जो डो है वो और इलास्टिक होता जाएगा, ब्रेक डाउन हो जाएगा, और अल्टीमेटली जो है आपका डो प्रॉपर नहीं रहेगा यदि आप ओवर मिक्सिंग कर देंगे। अंडर मिक्सिंग एंड ओवर मिक्सिंग बोथ आर नॉट डिज़ायरेबल इन डो मेकिंग. You have to have proper consistency of the dough so that it is good for proofing. Mixing time कितना है डो का? It depends upon the type of ingredients. It also depends upon the type of mixer you are using, speed of the mixer, design of the arms in the mixture, presence of salt or shortening, additives, particle size, as well as damaged starch content, kind of bread you are desiring. All these various factors that determine the mixing time. और मिक्सिंग जब हम करते हैं, डो बन जाता है तो आपके पास 3 डायमेंशनल प्रोटीन नेटवर्क बन जाता है डो में। और दिस नेटवर्क इज़ बिकॉज ऑफ द इंटरचेंज ऑफ डाइसल्फाइड बॉन्ड्स. ऑक्सीजन एयर ऑल्सो गेट्स इनकॉर्पोरेटेड इन वाइल द डो मिक्सिंग, और इस ऑक्सीजन से जो है वो फ्लावर को ऑक्सीजन मिलेगी तो फ्लावर का क्या हो जाएगा? ऑक्सीडेशन, और इसलिए गैस सेल्स फॉर्मुलेट हो जाएंगे डो के अंदर। तो डो को हमने एक पीक तक मिक्स करना है और उसके बाद हमने मिक्सिंग नहीं करनी, ताकि लेट डाउन स्टेज या ब्रेक डाउन स्टेज ना आ जाए। दैट मीन्स जो स्ट्रॉन्ग डो होगा वो मिक्सिंग टाइम ज़्यादा लेगा, जो वीक डो होगा उसका मिक्सिंग टाइम कम होगा, उसकी ब्रेक डाउन स्टेज जल्दी आ जाएगी। तो स्ट्रॉन्ग फ्लावर्स दे रिक्वायर मोर मिक्सिंग टाइम देन द वीक फ्लावर्स. लेंथ ऑफ मिक्सिंग इज also gives us an indication of the strength of the flour we are using. Longer the mixing time, it will raise the temperature of the dough also, and in most cases it will reduce the yeast because of the low water absorption. Therefore, in such cases we sometimes use the cold water. But we have to, for example, if we are using the strong flour, then at 35 degrees centigrade it will absorb less water, 5 to 8% less water than if we are doing mixing at 25 degrees centigrade. Therefore, the tempering of water is very important, so that during mixing also temperature of the dough remains near about 25-26 degrees centigrade. Over mixing, under mixing, not desirable at all. If you do over mixing, you will find that the dough is very sticky, चिपचिपा हो जाएगा, उसकी over mixed शीन हो जाएगी, और इसको हम बोलते हैं broken down dough. Gluten structure will be broken down during over mixing, and it heats up the dough also. जब आप बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम मिक्सिंग करेंगे तो आपका जो डो है वो गर्म हो जाएगा, उसका टेम्परेचर रेज हो जाएगा, उसकी फर्मेंटेशन कम हो जाएगी, और उससे आपको ब्रेड इन्फीरियर वॉल्यूम की मिलेगी, और बहुत अंदर से जो उसका आप टेक्सचर देखोगे वो बहुत क्रम्बली होगा, टूट जाएगा हाथ लगाने से। और इसी तरह आप अंडर मिक्सिंग कर देंगे तो आपका जो डो बनेगा वो इलास्टिक नहीं होगा, और उससे जो ब्रेड वॉल्यूम होगा वो कम होगा, थोड़े वॉल्यूम की ब्रेड बनेगी और उसकी प्रूफिंग जो है वो भी अच्छी नहीं होगी, उसमें गैस भी अच्छे से नहीं बन पाएगी ईस्ट से। तो इसलिए प्रॉपर मिक्सिंग एट प्रॉपर टेम्परेचर, प्रॉपर टाइम पीरियड आपको करना है। देन नेक्स्ट प्रोसेस विच यू फॉलो इन ब्रेड मेकिंग इज फर्मेंटेशन। फर्मेंटेशन आप किसकी हेल्प से करते हो? ईस्ट की हेल्प से करते हो। Yeast, you know, it can ferment under aerobic conditions also, anaerobic conditions also, and mostly the bread fermentation, it is anaerobic process. Therefore, little growth of yeast occurs during the dough fermentation. Just after mixing, you will find that the yeast starts doing its function, and the activity of the yeast increases during the interproofing period, intermediate proofing, and then during the final proofing also. Even during the baking process also, up to certain time yeast is active and then it gets killed. And most favorable temperature for the action of yeast is between 24 to 30 degrees centigrade, and humidity should be around 70 to 75 degrees centigrade. इसी तरह हम प्रूफिंग कैबिनेट का टेम्परेचर इसलिए 26, 27 और 70 to 75% ह्यूमिडिटी रखते हैं ताकि जो डो है उसकी फर्मेंटेशन यूनिफॉर्म हो। The quantity of the yeast also has an influence on the fermentation rate. बहुत ज़्यादा ईस्ट या बहुत कम ईस्ट वो भी डिज़ायरेबल नहीं है। तो आपको जो आपके फार्मूला में दिया गया है अमाउंट ऑफ द ईस्ट, आपको उतना ही ईस्ट यूज़ करना है, क्योंकि आप ज़्यादा यूज़ करोगे तो कॉस्ट भी बढ़ती है और प्लस फ्लेवर भी ईस्टी आने लग जाती है प्रोडक्ट्स में, दैट इज़ नॉट डिज़ायरेबल। व्हाट इज़ द फंक्शन ऑफ द ईस्ट? व्हेन इट acts on the starch glucose present in the bread formula, it will convert it into carbon dioxide and ethanol, and this carbon dioxide gives a rise to the loaf. There will be increase in the volume of the dough due to the production of carbon dioxide, increase in temperature, number of yeast cells, they will increase, and the consistency of the dough is also changed. You have practical experience of it, that the consistency of the dough before keeping in the proofing cabinet and after the final proofing is quite different. It is very easy to handle the dough which is fermented one rather than the unfermented one. And yeast fermentation makes the dough soft, it will make it light, it will make it elastic, it will make it extensible, and pH of the dough also comes down. It comes down to if it is 5.5, that it comes to about 4.7 due to the fermentation process, because certain acids are also produced in the fermentation besides carbon dioxide and ethanol, like acetic acid. Moisture is also produced due to the action of diastatic enzymes when it acts on the damaged starch during fermentation. Therefore, the fermentation process is controlled by these diastase enzymes which are present in the flour, and amount of sugar, malt, yeast foods, temperature of fermentation. You have to take care of all these things because they all have an influence on the fermentation process. Then the certain fermentation losses also occurs. They are about 1 to 2%. You must know this figure, 1 to 2% fermentation losses. If you have taken dough, various ingredients, they were weighing, in total they were weighing 500 grams, 1 to 2% of it will be lost after the dough making, because some sugars will be consumed by the yeast even during the mixing time and during the proofing time. Over fermented doughs are not good. They are sticky, they are soft, you will get less appetizing appearance, you will take more of the flour for dusting purpose. When you are scaling or you are making up, it will make the bread loaf hard. And unfermented doughs, they do not bake properly, crumb color is dark, and that is not desirable. Such bread loaves, they crumb easily, and such doughs, they have a tendency to flatten when you are doing the intermediate proofing. Then in between the proofing, we take out the dough and we do the knockback. This is also another important process of bread making. What is knockback? You should know the definition of it, the process of it. Definition has been given in the chapter also. It has been given in the glossary also. Knockback, when the fermentation produces, you know that carbon dioxide is produced, but it is not uniformly distributed throughout the dough. Through the knockback process, we do the punching of the dough so as to take out the carbon dioxide, and then again we do rounding and keep it for fermentation so that carbon dioxide is uniformly distributed throughout the ball. Punching of the dough in between fermentation period is known as this knockback, and it improves the gas retaining power of the dough. Knockback also helps to equalize the temperature throughout the mass of the dough. It reduces the retarding effect of excessive amount of carbon dioxide if it has accumulated at some place of the ball. And then it also introduces oxygen when you do the punching process. Through the knockback, this mechanical development of gluten also takes place. When you are stretching the dough, you are having folding action. Through all these processes, you are stretching the gluten content also. And knockback is generally done when 2/3 of the normal fermentation time is over. Another process is scaling or dividing. We never do it with hand. We always take the help of the, you can say in practicals, we were taking the plastic pattis or the iron pattis, so that the gluten structure networking is not disturbed, that is not broken. And scaling, for example, for the bread loaves, we generally do at 450 grams. We take 12% extra dough to compensate the baking loss. If we have to get loaf of 400 gram, then for the scaling we take about 450 gram. After baking, it will come to about 400 gram bread loaf. Rounding you do most of the time in the baking of the breads. Rounding each piece, you know, after scaling, you do rounding of the dough by hand or mechanically. Rounders are also available. You give a ball shape, and function of rounding is so that you have a continuous surface skin that will retain the gas, that will reduce the stickiness. No carbon dioxide is out. No cracks are there on the rounds, and most of the carbon dioxide which has been produced during the first fermentation period, that will be squeezed out of the dough, and then you do the rounding so as to equally distribute it. To have a continuous skin surface, we do the rounding. Then another process is intermediate proof. Intermediate proofing is generally done for about ranging from 5 to 30 minutes. Many times we have done for 15 minutes in most of the recipes in the classes. The loss of gas during scaling and rounding, that has to be compensated. How that will have to be compensated? We will have to keep it for some extra time in the proofing cabinet, so that again carbon dioxide gas which was lost during rounding process, again that is produced, and that period is known as intermediate proofing. Again, the temperature of the proofing cabinet has to be the same, 25, 26 to 27 degrees centigrade, and 70 to 75% relative humidity has to be maintained, and time period for intermediate proofing is about 5 to 30 minutes. Then molding. Molding depends upon the product. You are preparing buns or you are preparing breads, and for the molding, the after scaling 450 gram of the dough, you will do the molding of this. There are various steps involved in molding. First is sheeting, then is curling, then last step is sealing. Molders are also available, mechanical molders are also available, and they will curl the sheet into cylinder, then they will be dropped into the mold pan in which the bread is to be baked. But with the hand, we do the molding, we do the panning, and again the bread pan has to be greased lightly, then it has to be dusted with the flour, extra flour has to be taken out, and in that pan panning is done. Temperature of the pan, again it has to be near about 25 to 27 degree centigrade, and the purpose of molding is that we are removing the extra gas which has been produced during the process of fermentation or at the time of intermediate proofing. When we are doing hand molding, in the beginning of the manual, or I can show you in the practical class how it is done. You have to take the round piece of the dough, you do the rounding, as you know, on the floured board with top side down, and you take out the gas with the help of the palms of the hand, and you pull the dough lengthwise so that it becomes oblong shape of dough, and then you have to shape the loaf by folding lengthwise towards the center. You have to press firmly with the fingers, you have to roll it, and then you have to put in the bread pan. Again you have to press it so that it takes the shape of the bread pan, and fold over half of the dough and press for the final seal, and then you have to put the molded loaf. For panning, you have to put the molded loaf into the greased pan, and you have to press with the hand, as I've said, so that it takes the shape of the bread pan. Then keep it for proofing again, and this is final proofing. Temperature is about again 27 to 30 degree, 85% relative humidity, and objective of final proofing is that you have to relax the dough in the pan, because during the fermentation time it had it was stressed. You have to give rest to the dough, and again to facilitate the gas production, to give volume to the bread, you have to convert this gluten, which is tough in the beginning, so that it mellows down at the end of the final proofing. This depends on the amount of the dough you have taken, and you have to do final proofing when the fermentation or the loaf rises up to 3/4 of the pan. And then after that final proofing, you have to keep it in the preheated oven for baking. Baking is another step involved in the bread making, and you have to keep the temperature of the oven at about 245 to 250 degrees centigrade. For bread making, time period is about 30 minutes, and it also depends upon the size of the dough pieces, dough sizes. This has to be according to the recipe which will be given to you, and during baking the dough volume will continue to rise. Better the quality of the dough, more volume of the dough during baking you will be seeing, you will be getting more bread loaf volume. Crust of the loaf, texture of the crumb, that will be fixed up when the baking stage comes, where the temperature is around 55 to 65 degrees centigrade of the dough itself. When the dough temperature comes to about 55 to 65 degrees centigrade, at that time the crumb will be fixed up, texture will be fixed up because of the gelatinization by the starch. And when the temperature comes to about 100 degrees centigrade, then the yeast is killed, and after the baking time is over, you can check the bread again and you will get a good size shape of the bread loaf. You have to cool it down to the proper room temperature so that it doesn't dry excessively. You have to cover it with a cloth, and then you have to do the slicing after cooling. When it is warm, you are not supposed to slice it. The bread loaf will break, bread slice will not come out properly. Desired temperature for bread slicing is again 25 to 35 degree centigrade. These are the various steps which are involved in the bread making. Last step, if you are doing at the commercial scale, you have to do the packaging also. You have to select the packaging material also, printing of the packaging, and mostly the packaging material required should fulfill certain characteristics. It should be sealable. It should have low water vapor transmission rate. Packaging should be economical. It should be attractive. And for bread wrapping, we mostly use wax paper. Plastic films like polypropylene are also extensively used for bread packaging. And in the bread packaging, you can keep the bread safe and moist for 2 to 3 days. That is the shelf life of the bread. You have to keep it at the room temperature. You don't have to store the bread in the refrigerator because it will stale. With this, we complete the various ingredients which are to be used in bread making, the methods of bread making, processes of bread making, and I hope everything is clear to you. And if still something is not clear, you can ask me, you can send the queries on the Google app, and I have given the assignment to you, and you time to time check the assignments and submit on the Google app so that I can go through that, and I'm sure that you are studying during this period also. Thank you very much.